Welcome to the invisible, yet ever-present heart of modern medicine. In hospitals and clinics around the world, a symphony of sophisticated machines works tirelessly, 24/7. They are the silent partners to our doctors and nurses, the extensions of their senses, and the instruments of their healing hands. Today, I'm taking you on an in-depth tour of these incredible devices, the technological marvels that keep modern medicine moving. We'll go beyond the surface to understand not just what they do, but how they do it, revealing the fundamental principles that allow us to see inside the human body, support life itself, and perform surgery with superhuman precision. Let's begin with the oldest and most familiar form of medical imaging, the X-ray. First discovered in 1895, its core principle remains elegantly simple. The machine fires a short, controlled burst of high-energy photons, a form of electromagnetic radiation, through a part of the body. As these photons travel, they are absorbed at different rates by different tissues. Dense materials, like bone, absorb many of the photons, casting a bright white shadow on the detector. Softer tissues, like muscle and fat, let more photons pass through, appearing in shades of gray. This differential absorption creates a 2D projection, a snapshot of our internal structure. It's an invaluable and rapid tool, perfect for diagnosing fractures, identifying pneumonia in the lungs, or spotting dental issues. It's the foundational technology that first gave us a window into the living body without making a single incision. Now, imagine taking that 2D X-ray concept and elevating it into the third dimension. That's the genius of the computed tomography, or CT scanner. Instead of a single static image, a CT scanner uses a motorized X-ray source that rotates 360 degrees around the patient. Directly opposite the source is a ring of sensitive detectors. As the gantry spins, it captures hundreds of X-ray slices from every possible angle. A powerful computer then takes this massive dataset and uses complex algorithms to reconstruct a detailed, cross-sectional 3D view of the body. This allows doctors to peel back layers virtually, inspecting organs, blood vessels, and bones without obstruction. It is the gold standard for rapidly diagnosing life-threatening conditions like internal bleeding from trauma, identifying the location of a stroke in the brain, or staging the spread of cancer with incredible clarity. But what if you need to see the body's soft tissues in exquisite detail? For that, we turn to a machine that operates on entirely different principles, magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI. Unlike X-rays or CT scans, an MRI uses no ionizing radiation. Instead, it harnesses the power of a massive superconducting magnet and radio waves. The human body is mostly water, and water molecules contain hydrogen atoms. The powerful magnetic field, thousands of times stronger than Earth's, forces the protons within these hydrogen atoms to align in the same direction. The machine then sends a short radio wave pulse which knocks these aligned protons out of position. When the pulse stops, the protons relax back into alignment, releasing a faint radio signal of their own. The MRI's detectors listen for these signals. Crucially, protons in different types of tissue, like brain matter, muscle, ligaments, or tumors, relax at different speeds. By measuring these tiny differences, the MRI can construct breathtakingly detailed images of the body's soft tissues, making it unparalleled for examining the brain, the spinal cord, complex joints like the knee, and detecting subtle abnormalities that other scans might miss. Another radiation-free imaging marvel is the ultrasound. It's safe, often portable, and provides real-time images. The technology is based on the same principle as sonar used by bats and submarines. The handheld probe, or transducer, contains piezoelectric crystals. When an electric current is applied, these crystals vibrate and emit high-frequency sound waves far beyond the range of human hearing. These sound waves travel into the body and bounce off different organs and structures, creating echoes. The same probe then detects these returning echoes. The machine's computer measures the time it takes for the echoes to return and their strength, translating this information into a live, moving image on the screen. It's famously used to monitor the health and development of a baby during pregnancy, but its applications are vast. With a feature called Doppler, it can visualize blood flow, making it essential for examining heart valves and detecting clots in blood vessels. Its portability also makes it a powerful tool for quick point-of-care scans in the emergency room to look for internal fluid or guide procedures. Moving from imaging to electrical signals, we have the electrocardiogram, or ECG. Every time your heart beats, it generates a tiny electrical impulse that spreads through the heart muscle, causing it to contract. The ECG is designed to listen to and record this electrical activity. Small electrodes placed on the skin of the chest, arms, and legs act like antennas, picking up these faint signals. The machine amplifies them and displays them as a characteristic waveform. This simple, non-invasive test is incredibly powerful. A cardiologist can read this waveform like a book, identifying the heart's rate and rhythm, flagging dangerous arrhythmias like atrial fibrillation, and even detecting signs of a heart attack by looking for specific changes in the wave's shape. A similar principle applies to the electroencephalogram, or EEG, which records the electrical activity of the brain. By placing electrodes on the scalp, neurologists can diagnose seizures, evaluate sleep disorders, and even monitor the depth of anesthesia during surgery, ensuring the brain is safely asleep. In critical care, machines don't just diagnose, they sustain life. The mechanical ventilator is a prime example. When a patient's lungs fail or they are too weak to breathe on their own, a ventilator takes over this essential function. It delivers a controlled mixture of air and oxygen into the lungs and allows carbon dioxide to be exhaled. It's a true lifesaver in intensive care units and a cornerstone of modern surgery. Working alongside it is the patient monitor, the vigilant guardian at the bedside. This device continuously tracks a patient's vital signs. The ECG trace shows heart rate and rhythm. A cuff on the arm periodically measures blood pressure. A pulse oximeter clip on the finger glows red to measure oxygen levels in the blood. And sensors track the rate of breathing. These monitors provide a constant stream of data, alerting clinicians to the slightest change in a patient's condition, allowing for immediate intervention. And what about the operating room itself? Here, technology has given surgeons abilities that feel like science fiction. Surgical robots, like the Da Vinci system, are not autonomous. They are master-slave devices that extend the surgeon's capabilities. The surgeon sits at a console, often across the room, viewing a magnified, high-definition 3D image from a camera inside the patient. Their hand movements are translated by a computer into incredibly precise, scaled-down motions of the robotic arms. This system offers profound advantages. It filters out the natural tremor in a surgeon's hands, allowing for rock-steady movements. It scales motion, so a large hand movement can become a tiny, delicate motion inside the body, and the robotic wrists can rotate and articulate far beyond what a human wrist can, enabling surgeons to operate in tight spaces with unprecedented dexterity. This leads to smaller incisions, less pain, and faster recovery for the patient. For millions of people, life depends on a machine that can replicate the function of a vital organ. The dialysis machine does just that for the kidneys. When kidneys fail, they can no longer filter waste products and excess fluid from the blood. A dialysis machine acts as an artificial kidney. Blood is drawn from the patient and pumped through a special filter called a dialyzer. Inside, the blood flows through thousands of tiny hollow fibers made of a semi-permeable membrane. On the outside of these fibers flows a sterile cleansing fluid called dialysate. Waste products like urea and creatinine diffuse from the blood where their concentration is high into the dialysate where it's low. Excess water is also pulled out through a process called ultrafiltration. The newly cleaned blood is then returned to the body. This life-sustaining process, performed several times a week, keeps patients healthy while they await a kidney transplant. Finally, behind the scenes, an army of automated lab analyzers processes thousands of samples a day with incredible speed and accuracy. When a blood or urine sample is taken, it's sent to the lab where these machines take over. They can perform a complete blood count, tallying red cells, white cells, and platelets. They run complex chemistry panels, measuring levels of electrolytes, enzymes, and proteins to assess organ function. They can identify markers for infection or inflammation. This automation eliminates human error and provides doctors with critical data in minutes or hours, rather than days. It ensures that medical decisions aren't just based on observation or intuition, they are rooted in hard quantitative data. From the first look inside with an X-ray to the life-sustaining rhythm of a ventilator, each of these machines represents a triumph of science and engineering. They are the tools that empower healthcare professionals to diagnose more accurately, treat more effectively, and ultimately save lives. This is modern medicine in motion.